Lesson 5 homework. The objective of this lesson was to compare numbers based on the meanings of the digits using greater than, less than, or equal to record your comparison. And we, as usual, use our place value chart. Very, very helpful. And we drew place value discs to represent each number, but I also put in the numbers because I thought that might be helpful. So we have 909,013, so 909,013, and 90,013, 90,013. And if it's easier to start in the ones place to put the digits in the correct spot, you may certainly do that. That's always a good idea. But when you see it visually on the place value chart, it's easy to see that 909,000 is greater than 90,013. Okay? And we put the greater than sign there. It is important to complete the place value chart. I know sometimes you can visually see which place value you're going to and how many digits there are, but it's important to use the place value chart because using models and using tools are just as important as solving the problems, because when the problems become more difficult, it will make it much easier for you. For instance, both of these numbers have 6 digits. So using the place value chart is awfully easy to do. So 210,005, 22,005. And seeing the 2's are the same in the 100,000s place, but the 10,000s place is different. So the bottom number, the second number, is larger because in the 10,000s place it is larger. And so this you may use your place value chart for, but you're also supposed to be using your knowledge of place value now. So if you read the numbers, we know that this ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So we know that this has more digits, so it's therefore larger. Sometimes it's difficult because they give us expanded form or word form. So it's important to write the value of the expanded notation or the word form in standard form or numerical form. So this is 351,000. You do all the thousands together. 351,800. 605,000. 605,908. And we can see that 600,000 is greater than 300,000. So in the 100,000s place, we can see that the 6 is larger than the 3. This is in regular numerical form, but again, to write it so that you can see it. 303,840. 300,000s, 300,000s, 3,000s, 800s, 4 tens. So the thousands are the same. 303,000, 303,000. So we then go to the hundred place. Well, we have 800, 800. Go to the tens place. 0, tens, 4 tens. So this is greater. So you need to go to the place value that is different. And finally, 500s, 6 10,000s, what? 2 ones. They put this in a different order. So you do have to be aware and not just write the digits down. So we have 6 10,000s, so 60,000, 500s, and 2 ones. So that's 60,502. 3 10,000s, so that's 30,000. 500s, 1. So in the 10,000s place, we can see that, did I do this? I think I did this wrong. Do you think my symbol is incorrect? I think it might be. Look at this. 6 10,000s. I need to change this. Oh, boink. See, it's always good to recheck your work. That was a good example of that. I wonder if I hadn't changed it, if anyone would catch that. Okay, now they gave us a data table, and we use these in science to gather information from our experiments. And it says to use the information in the chart below to list the height in feet, and we know that it's feet, of each skyscraper. And that is a building that scrapes the sky. It's so tall that it scrapes the sky from the shortest to the tallest. And that is important, and that's why I underlined it, because it's important to know if you're going from largest to smallest, tallest to shortest, shortest to tallest. So this is the shortest skyscraper to the very tallest. So what's interesting about all of these heights is that they all have a 1 in the thousands place. So we know that they're all at least 1,000 feet tall. So we then need to look in the hundreds place, and we're looking for the shortest. Well, let's see, we have 400, 700, 600, 400. Well, 400 is the shortest, but we have 2 of those. So then we need to go to the tens place, and we have 5 in the tens place and an 8. So obviously the 5 is the shortest. So I put a 1 there just for my own brain. So I would know that's the shortest. And then we know that this is the next shortest because they were both 1,400. And we have 2 left. And we have a 7 in the hundreds place and a 6 in the hundreds place. Well, a 6 is less than 7, so that's the third tallest and the fourth tallest. And this math program is called in Eureka or Great Minds, but it was originally called Engage New York, and it was created in New York, which is why they have One World Trade Center. And they have other New York places. So we need to then list them because it says to list in height, and then name the tallest skyscraper. So the Willis Tower is the shortest at 1,450 feet. The Petronas Towers are the next tallest at 1,483 feet. The Taipei 101 is the third tallest at 1,670 feet. And the tallest skyscraper in this data table is One World Trade Center at 1,776 feet. And that does say, then name the tallest skyscraper. So the tallest skyscraper is One World Trade Center at 1,776 feet. Now, and this is another time it's important to know if you're going least to greatest, greatest to least. You're arranging these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers from the smallest, the least, to the greatest, the largest. And if we look at place value, we know that this has 4 digits, this has 4 digits, this has 4 digits, this has 4 digits, and this only has 3. So we know this is the smallest, so we can move that right over. That is the smallest. And then we look in the thousands place, and we have 7,000, 5,000, 5,000, 7,000. Well, we know that 5,000 is smaller than 7,000. And since the thousands place, we have 5, we go to the hundreds place, we have 0, 0, go to the tens, 7 tens, 0 tens. Well, 0 tens is least, so we put this here. And then the next 5,000. So we have our 2 7,000s left, and then they have 500, 500, 50 tens, 5 tens, 0 tens. So now we know our order. And I think I'm going to leave a few, whoopsie doopsie doo, more spaces in between just to make it easier to see the different numbers. And now these numbers, we're going from greatest to least. And we have 6 digits, 6 digits, 6 digits, 5 digits. So we know this is the smallest. So I actually wrote this one first because I know that that's the smallest and get that out of the way. Now we have 400,000, 400,000, 600,000. Well, 600,000 is larger than 400,000, so that is the largest. So now we know the least and the largest. We just have to fill in the 2. And we have 400,000, 400,000. 20,000, so this is the next largest. And then finally, excuse me. Okay, so the areas of the states can be measured in square miles. So as we know, difference between area and perimeter. Perimeter is the outside edge. Think of a fence. And area is the inside space. Think of a carpet covering a floor. So states can be measured by how much ground they cover or land they cover. So I circled the amounts because, as you can see, we're going to arrange the states in order from the least to the greatest area. And so I circled the square miles, their area, to help myself. And let's see, they all have 6 digits, don't they? We have 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 200,000, 100,000, 500,000. Well, what we do know is that the greatest would be Alaska because that has 500,000. So we know that Alaska is going to be the largest, cover the largest area. And then we have 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 200,000. Well, we know that Texas will be the next largest. So that will be on the bottom as well. But now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 states that all have one in the 100,000s place. So now we need to go to the 10,000s place, and we have 5, 1, 1, 4. Well, we're looking for the smallest, the least area. So now we have to go to the thousands place, and we have 0 and we have 4. So we know that this 0 is smaller. So Nevada is the smallest at 110,564, and then Arizona would be next at 114,107 square miles. And the nice thing, when they tell us to arrange the states in order, it's good to then see the numbers, and it gives you an idea that you're doing it correctly when you see it all lined up. And you know what? If you find that it doesn't make sense, erase and change it. That's a nice thing about pencils. They have erasers, and you can change. Because sometimes that happens when there's so many numbers in a word problem and you have to read them all and figure them all out. It can be very tricky. So feel free to erase and change your answer. So then we have California and Montana left, and this is 100,000, 100,000, but this has 5 in the 10,000s and 4. So Montana, California. So just these states out of the 50, Nevada is the smallest, and Alaska covers the most land. But what's interesting is that Alaska, for as large as it is and as much land as it covers, its population isn't as large as California's or Texas. So that's also interesting, and that's a different question. So thank you for following along, and I hope that your homework is going smoothly. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.